Hello traders and welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 154. Iliya here, and as always I'm really happy to have you on the Trading Fanatic channel. You know what we're going to do in this video. We're going to analyze the market, what it did this week, how it developed, what kind of opportunities we had, and most importantly what we can expect for the upcoming week. This one was really nice, really volatile. We had some beautiful trends, right? Overall bullish trend on the Dixie, bearish trend on Euro USD, and also bearish on all the other major pairs. Personally, I did not take any trades this week. I had probably 5 misses or just like a not provided entry, right? We were even joking in the community that because I mainly trade EU, you know, and it wasn't really kind in terms of providing you a nice entry, right? It just taps and just goes, right? Or it's gonna move at a time that I usually don't trade. So that's it. A little bit sad because June finishes with a loss for me, because I only traded in the first week of June. Then I took 2 breaks of like 2 weeks of break, traveling, visiting family, friends, and I couldn't really focus on the charts. And then actually it was this week that I really focused, but unfortunately I couldn't catch anything. But of course the loss is not like major. We're still in profit, so we go for the second half of the year, right? So it's already July, so happy new month. Hopefully you guys are very happy with your progress. Make sure to evaluate yourselves, to evaluate your progress for half of the year, right? Write new goals, see where you are at right now, evaluate your situation, and introduce specific action steps that are going to help you and propel you forward, right? It's a new month, so you know my promise. Every single month I pick a giveaway winner, right? Who is going to get access to my private course, Discord community, and of course one-on-one sessions with me. And for this month, this is Mr. Dean Perry. Congratulations, brother. Thank you so much for all the support, for all the comments. What I love about your comments is that you're always giving your thoughts as well. You tell me what you think is going to happen. You comment on all of that stuff. So thank you. Looking forward for you to get in touch with me and to welcome you in the Fanatic family. For everyone else, keep commenting. I'm looking at all the comments. I always respond myself. I'm looking for like high quality comments, so keep doing this, and thank you for all the support. All right. Of course, if you're new to this channel, make sure you're subscribed and turn on the notification bell in order not to miss all the future videos that are incoming, because they are. Currently, I'm working on a big revamp from my community. There are going to be some changes as well, also in the pricing structure and everything, because we publish daily value and daily content, right? So of course, make sure to check that out as well. And without further ado, let's head into the video because we have a lot to cover. All right, getting into the Dixie, but before we do that, I want to shout out my amazing broker that is cedarforex.com. It is great. It has all the assets. It has stocks, cryptos, Forex on a very low spread. But I picked their also eco account, in which I pay a little bit of commission, but for every lot that you trade, it goes towards planting 10 trees, right? So I really support them on this initiative. It is the first eco broker out there, so make sure to go check them out. Link is down in the description, and make sure to open your eco account, all right? Before we get started, I want to excuse myself for the echo that is going on and for the quality of my mic. I'm traveling right now, so I'm not at my station that is well isolated as well with a better studio mic. So sorry for that, but of course we focus on the content, okay? So Dixie, no changes this week. We had a lot of speeches. We had speeches from the Fed. We also had something pretty unique happening. The heads of the 3 central banks, which is Bank of England, the Fed, and the ECB, European Central Bank, they gathered together, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, and discussed what is about to happen. So of course, all of them are looking to take measure to battle with inflation, which of course comes in the form of interest rate hikes. Of course, I would like to just quickly jump on this chart. There is no updates for me to give you. No interest rate has been hiked this week, right, since my last analysis. But again, it's really important to know that the interest rate of the Fed is 1.75%. which is bigger than the one of Great Britain. It is bigger than the one of Europe as well. And of course, depending on the currency pair you trade, you would like to see what is the interest rate differential in order to determine like this macro bias, right? So we of course know that Jerome Powell is potentially going to continue hiking the rates in order to really stop inflation from eating everything. So this is pretty much bullish for the dollar, and I have been bullish for a very long time. So if you zoom in, what we see is that we have a beautiful weekly candle. It is not an inside bar. What we did is we started Again, I told you, so we didn't take out the mother candle because last week was an inside bar, right? This one, and what I usually tell you is to draw your mother candle, right? And of course, expect a breakout. But what we had is we had a liquidity grab below the previous weekly low, and then we initiated into the highs, right? So what I expect right now is for us to potentially attack the high. In terms of the monthly time frame, well, pretty bullish. What can I say? It's pretty bullish. We only have 1 month of a pullback. The next candle is already bullish. And potentially, I do expect for us to continue without really kind of getting a deeper pullback like this towards the 100 level, because it really doesn't make sense at this moment. Until the ECB starts to aggressively hike their rates, I think Dixie and EU are, Dixie is pretty bullish. The dollar is going to be bullish, and Euro USD and potentially also pound USD are going to be bearish. But of course, if we compare, pound USD has a 1.25 interest rate right now. So we can see that the pound is a little bit more bullish than the euro, right? So dropping on the daily, nothing too much to extract from here. We started on the 27th. We went for a liquidity grab below the previous weekly low. Bullish Tuesday, bullish Wednesday, beautiful. Thursday gave us a little bit of a pullback, and Friday continuation. So what I said is that I'm potentially going to expect this high to break. Currently, we are on the way, right? So right now the question is, okay, how can we take a long towards this zone? Right there, right towards this level, I should say, because it's not a zone, and it just disappeared as well. So let me show it again. So this is potentially our target on the 4H, and what we see is that again we started with that bearishness. We had a beautiful push, pullback, push right there. So we had a break of structure. We went in to retest the higher low. It was a pretty quick retest. Then it went again. This created another demand. We went inside, we tapped inside, and then we went again for a new higher high, which is right there. So again, the simple question, of course, goes, where is our major higher low? Well, it's pretty much right there, right? This is very little, so you can take like the whole candle like this, which is what I'm going to be doing in order to keep it bigger. Because I like bigger zones, they give you more room, right, in order to later develop, to let the market develop on the lower time frames. So currently we're already tapping 50%, right? So if I'm dropping right now to the hourly or to the 15-minute, what I'm going to be looking for is for the market to turn bullish, right? And then to potentially see it travel towards 105.80, right? So what I would love to see is potentially, again, similar to last week, for us to open a little bit bearish. So you can see 27th started right there. We opened like with a low, high, low again. So we see that double manipulation range, final manipulation on London Open, and then we expanded, right? So this is what I would like to see also this week, right? We can open, maybe chop around a little bit, break the lows very nicely, then break the highs, then retest, and then potentially head into the highs, okay? So this is what I'm going to be doing, and it's a brand new month as well. I'm not going to go into great details into the monthly time frame because usually I do not extract much from there, but make sure to spend some time right there in order to determine the direction of the market and what it can potentially do. But Dixie is bullish for me. And of course, I do think this high is being taken because what we also observed, first it was this high right there which we were tapping on Tuesday, I believe. We tapped, we broke. And what I said also, I think to you on Tuesday, is if we break and if we retest, then that's a long, right? What I also see is that this level has failed, right? So all the supply levels on the left are failing, which really makes me think that we are going higher to potentially break the zone, right? So I'm bullish, but of course we need a setup first. So if we get any pullback, then of course I'm focusing on longs. So let's see what's gonna happen. All right, let's have a look at EU. So if the Dixie is bullish, usually Euro USD should be bearish. And of course, we have been having this zone right there for quite a while right now. And you can see it's been 3 months that we have been trying to breach the zone. And no, sorry, it's 2 months actually. May and June and July just opened. So I actually hope that we smash it this month. And again, I'm not going to really do a lot of top-down analysis right there because I do it pretty much every single month. But we have this push, the market went in, tapped inside, then it should have made a new higher high. It failed. Made 3 drives into the highs and started shifting lower. So I really think right now we are about to break this low right there, which is probably going to disappear right now as I drop the time frames. But yes, in terms of the weekly time frame, again, if we zoom in, perfectly bearish. We had this range right there. We went perfectly into the 50%. We dropped, we pulled back, and right now we're having a very nice bearish engulfing candle as well. So I do think we are potentially continuing lower, right? The first target is this, and then I think pretty much, yeah, this target is pretty much the same, right? So it's 103.50-ish. So pretty bearish. Then dropping onto the daily, my lines keep disappearing every time frame I drop. We had this daily leg as we examined. We were tapping 50% already before I analyzed from last week. But we came in and we created a couple of liquidity grabs. So there is the first one, there is the second one. And after the second one, we actually shifted beautifully on the 4H. And again, I've been trying to short the hell out of this market for quite a while. But nope. So currently I'm also working a lot on my entry criteria because again, yeah, I'm not going to go into details, but there is a lot of work to do there as well in order to make it as systematic as possible to avoid any doubt and to avoid any discretion as much as possible, right? So we had beautiful Monday liquidating above the highs, tapping into a little supply area on the left, which you can see with this little wicks right there, which are clearly seen on the quality time frame. We tapped inside, we shifted structure, 1-2 days of sell-off. Thursday gave us a pullback, and then Friday was also a lovely sell, which again, guess what? Didn't provide me an entry. Going on to the 4H, we can see the first run, the second run, the third run. Then, of course, the market shifted precisely right there. Some of you might ask me why. Well, according to me, this was the higher low, right? Because if I drop on the hourly, we had a clean pullback and then a push that actually broke structure. And on the hourly, this is a clean candle of a pullback, right? Of course, you can take it from here. But from my experience, I just took this one because we also reacted from it, failed to break above, and then we dropped. So go and examine multiple short opportunities right there. I do think there was one right here, but I wasn't prepared for it. I'm really not sure. I'm not gonna break down any charts in today's video simply because I didn't take any trades. Usually I do and show everything. Another drop, then there is the next short on the 13th of June, which also did not provide an entry, massive dump lower. Then we pushed a little bit higher. Probably a lot of you might have seen this one as a potential trend change for the market to continue pushing higher. But of course, the momentum is lower and the market just had to break above this high to pull us back into 50% of the overall range. Well, we didn't quite tap 50%, but it almost went there, right? And then we started actually shifting on the lower time frame. And if you drop to the 50-minute time frame, since the beginning of the day, it was pretty bearish as well. And we also made a new lower low, and we came very close to breaking also this low. So for next week, I am pretty bearish, right? So if I just zoom in and take this, it's a wick, which I don't like, but I'm starting to take also wicks as breaks because again, I missed too many trades. So when you start, but this is not a body close, but this is looking like this and that and this and that. So you end up thinking too much instead of trading, okay? The higher low can also be this guys right here, this little wick, because we have a pullback potentially on the hourly or on the 15-minute before the drop, right? So this could be a potential supply area that we can short. And of course, there is the other one. So pretty much similar to the Dixie, I'm going to be loving to see a pullback into these zones right there. Then potentially the market starting to shift structure, and then I'm going to ride it into the lows. Okay, so as you can see, pretty much like analyzing the monthly, weekly, daily doesn't bring much value if you are a day trader, right? Because for day traders, I start from the hourly and then I'm maybe gonna check the hourly, but then the 15-minute is my best friend, right? So if I know that the market is overall bearish, I just wait for the pullback. Then as the 15-minute starts to trend with me, then we pretty much go with it, right? A trade that I wanted to take was here. It didn't provide me the entry that I wanted to see, which I'm really pissed about. The next one was right there, so it liquidated very sharply. There was a setup, but then again, it kind of was outside of my entry rules to take this short. Another one was right there. It was New York. I'm not sure what happened right there, but yeah, plenty of missed trades for me this week. So pretty much in order not to complicate it again, bearish bias on EU. I would love to see a little bit of a pullback, right? And if you start with a sharp move to the downside, then of course follow the flow until you're wrong. And this is why, again, making sure that you correctly read market structure is key. And of course, we teach this in my program, so everybody knows how to read structure. It's pretty easy and straightforward, but again, you need rules behind, and you really need to also understand what's going on, right? So that's EU, bearish bias. Let's head on to Euro JPY. Euro yen on the monthly time frame looks quite extended, right? But I'm really avoiding using the word extended because the market is never extended, right? a lot of times you can say, it's extended, and it just keeps climbing into the highs, right? So be objective, and when the market actually shows you it's extended and starts reversing and changing the structure in a lower time frame, that is when you say, okay, so right now we're probably in a pullback. Okay, so what I like about this one is this wick right here, which is probably something on a lower time frame. But in terms of the monthly, yes, this price needs a bit of a pullback because we have been trending up for 4 months. But again, we can have a 5th month, right? You can see right there we had how many bars? That is 6 months of trending price, right? Well, this one is with more intensity, with more pips, but of course, let's not marry like the market being extended. So if we drop to the weekly, what I like is this slowdown as well, right? Because in this slowdown, we created a higher low formation and we also created a new higher high right there. So pretty much you can see that monthly wick we drew corresponds to this little pullback right there. So we pushed, and what you can also do is you can draw another range, right? Which is an overall weekly range. And pretty much you can see you get a box, right? So this is kind of a hard time frame box where the market can potentially pull back, right? You would like to see also 50% of the monthly, but for a yen pair, 50% is not very likely, right? So for me, I'm gonna avoid the monthly and I'm gonna focus more on the shorter term, which is the weekly. Dropping onto the daily, so I'm going to avoid using this guy right there, and I'm gonna tell you why. Well, because it did not make a new hard high, right? So this was a push. This was a potential higher low, but if we actually see, the market never broke above this higher high. Yes, it created a triple top, it wicked it to grab the liquidity in order to flush lower, but it didn't really close and break strongly below it, so I can say, yes, this is a confirmed higher low. Of course, it can act as a higher low in order to long the market, but I'm going to be skeptical about it because we can have like a manipulation of it and then a potential expansion higher. Okay, so be mindful of that. Dropping onto the 4H, yes, this level looks really good, like they look at this beautiful sell to buy that actually broke structure, but you can see we never broke above, okay? What we did right there is we changed the structure, so we had a break of the high, then we broke the low right there, we went back to retest with a little liquidity grab, right there, this candle right here. Then what we did is, again, if you just do like those, market structure is easy, right? It's everywhere. You had a bullish run, but the major structure is already going bearish, right? So you have your major leg right there, then the market turns bearish on the minor, it shifts lower, retest, and there is your short, right? So pretty straightforward and easy. And yes, so right now, where are we? Well, we're pretty much currently traveling towards a liquidity point, which again, according to me, is either this low, that is going to act as liquidity, right? For the market to tap into this big zone right there, or it's just about to tap into this big guy right here. So if we also take it with a 50%, right? So pretty much this is somewhere where I would like to see Euro Yen come in, okay? And of course, this is the 4-hourly time frame. So if you zoom in on what is happening right now, the market is creating lower highs. That was a lower high right there. We pushed, we pulled back, we pushed again. So there is potentially a lower high right here. So similarly to what I said on EU, if we get any sort of pullbacks towards those levels, then I'm going to be interested to short this market. I don't think we're reversing long from here. And of course, what I told you guys, the market is never extended. Just focus on price, right? If the market is ready to reverse, it's going to break the last lower high. It's going to retest. It's going to form a higher low. And then you're going to take your long, right? Similar here, right? So if you wanted to short from this zone, you see, market is reversing. Nope. Market is reversing. Nope. Market is reversing when it broke structure, which is right there. Then you got your retest and then you got your short, right? So be patient, short the market until you're wrong, right? I love this quote. So if the market pulls back either to there or to there, I'm going to be looking for shorts, targeting this lower low and potentially targeting like 50% of this range. And also being mindful that if Euro USD turns bearish and maybe if USD Yen also gets a little bit of selling pressure, this one can travel below 138 and tap into this big guy, right? But until we come towards this big guy, we have a lot of stuff, right? We have a lot of space and price. So focusing on shorts for now, overall weak Euro. So let's see how this month is going to go. The Aussies are next, starting from AUD USD. So on the monthly time frame, we had a beautiful bearish candle. What I love about this bearish candle is that it also created a liquidity gap. So first it started by taking out the previous monthly high, then it rejected and massively pushed to the lows. It didn't break the low, but as you can see, the first week, actually, even the first day, because we had like only the 1st of July, we're already breaking and making a new lower low. Okay. So of course, potentially the next kind of liquidity point that we can target is going to be this kind of zone, or even like this big, very big, right? But again, in terms of monthly, well, I am overall bearish, but also what I look at it, it's we had this massive run since the low right there of 0.55, right? We have this massive leg, so the market is potentially just about to tag in 50%, right? So we're about to be getting into discount of this leg. But of course, if you also go to the three, what is it? How do you Q3? Nope. How do I go? Oh, to 3 months. I'm drawing quarterly, right? If you go to the quarterly, what you see is that we're overall bearish, right? So we had this massive leg, then this is a pullback. The market actually respected the supply. So potentially what I know what we can expect is the market to continue traveling lower, right? So this is kind of the overall sentiment, okay? Dropping onto the weekly, well, what we can see is again a massive bearish candle, creating a new lower low. So of course, potential pullback is expected because we also collected the liquidity below this low. So a lot of liquidity has been collected right now on Aussie dollar. So we can potentially start expecting a pullback. Where to? Well, that's the question, because we can right now drop a new range like this and say, okay, we're looking for 50%. Okay, so possible, right? It's possible. Dropping onto the daily, what I don't like about this price is this kind of price action right there. So it was really cooking for something, and as you can see, it was actually Friday that made the move, right? And so it was Friday that actually took out all the liquidity, took out this low, and took out like this low right there, which was on the daily and weekly chart. So right now I really don't know what to expect, but what I'm simply gonna do, right, is just keep following the flow, right? Daily is right now bearish, respectively the 4-hourly is also bearish, but we keep in mind that it's also extended, so I don't want to use this word. Again, I keep telling you, because we don't know when the market is extended, right? Yes, I can plot an RSI right now, which is gonna say oversold, or oversold, but the market can just continue climbing lower, right? Just keep following the structure. So right now, this is my major, it's pretty straightforward. This is my major lower high on the 4H. As long as we are below it, I keep shorting, right? So if we come in right there, if we provide a setup, I'm gonna be looking to short. But of course, if we start breaking above it and start changing the flow of the market to bullish, then I'm gonna know, okay, so maybe the market is changing right now. So you might be we might start traveling towards the 50% of the overall weekly leg. And this is pretty much how I use the weekly legs, right? So if the market decides to kind of starts to change the structure and starts to make a move, then I know, okay, weekly is bearish. So this potentially then 0.7050-ish is going to be my target. This is potentially when the market turns bullish, I'm gonna know that I can long the market until that 50%. This is how I use it, right? I don't trade the weekly, the monthly, and the daily. I just use them for this sort of purposes, right? But again, zooming in, what is the market doing right now? It's bearish. Where is the lower high? It's this one. As long as we're below, we're bearish. So let's keep shorting, right? And hopefully we get that pullback on Monday, Tuesday, and then we get a short opportunity. Let's see. AJ, kind of the same. On the weekly time frame, though, it's a little bit cleaner because we have right now, yes, I know it's a break, but it is what it is. We gotta take it. On the monthly time frame, are we extended, guys? So I don't know, right? I don't know. Wick. A lot of wicks being thrown at the highs. We're retesting, let's say, 2015 supply zones right there. We actually did not break above it, which is good. So can we start expecting like a bigger 50% pullback towards 88? Well, again, I don't know, and nobody knows. Only price is gonna show us. On the daily time frame, again, we have this leg that just started from here and it ended right there, right? So it's pretty big. We pull back, we tagged in 50%, we tried to push, we failed, right? So after the failure, then this one is potentially expected to break, and we just broke it as well, right? So the next demand area, according to me, is this guy, right? So if you can take any shorts until this demand, then do so, right? So if I drop to the 4-hourly time frame, everything disappeared again. Yeah, my overall lower high is here. Not a very lovely price, right? But if I just take a range from the high to the low, there is 50%. In such momentous markets, you do not always expect like a 50% pullback or a pullback towards the lower high. So if we get like a little pullback and then if the market starts shifting, then start shorting it, right? Until this demand, right? So as we tap 91 and get deeper into 90 potentially, I'm gonna be observing to see what is happening, right? But this is a little bit too far ahead to think. I like to think about what is gonna happen right now, like maximum this week, right? This week. And even I'm pretty bad at guessing weekly moves because I change my bets every single day, right? So I focus on where my strength is, which is pretty much to determine the daily move and not to say like the London move, right? So I really don't care much what's gonna happen if the market comes in right there, right? What I care about is the overall direction, which is bearish, which is my high probability, hard time frame direction, right? For the trades that I'm about to take. And yeah, so pretty much AJ bearish. I'm gonna be looking for a little pullback, preferably 50%. But of course, what you can see on the 15-minute is that we're currently responding from this little supply. So if the market starts holding from there, breaking structure below, then keep following the flow. Okay, and stay tuned for Tuesday, where we're gonna have an update of the market and see how we can strike. The NZD is pretty straightforward, pretty much similar to the Aussies, maybe a little bit more bearish is what I have been spotting so far. So right here we have the same, we have a break of structure right there on in terms of the 3 monthly time, the quarterly time frame, right? Break, retest, holding from supply. So potentially, yes, we're pretty bearish. And look how the quarterly candle closed, like a massive. By the way, you can also be checking the quarterly candles, right? I'm just thinking of that. Massive engulfing candle, and usually engulfing candles tend to at least get a little bit of a pullback. So can we expect a pullback? But we can see that sometimes you can see massive engulf, maybe indecision, just continuing dropping lower, right? Usually what you would like to see is this wick to create a pullback and then you just go with it, right? With the overall flow. So on the monthly time frame, nothing too much to extract, right? Yes, it's tapping into demand right now, so we can expect a little bit of a pullback, but we do not know when the pullback starts until it does. Okay, so weekly time frame, there it is. There is the break. So again, after we usually have a break and a new lower low, this is when we can start expecting the pullback. Okay, but again, as I keep telling you, we don't know, and a lot of you might not like this. You're like, you just say you don't know anything. Well, yes, I don't, and I'm not insecure to say about it, because whoever pretends to know everything, that's the guy who doesn't know nothing, right? Because in the markets, nothing is for sure. So daily time frame, again, nothing too much to extract. Similar price action to Aussie dollar, kind of ranging, then sharply breaking below right now, which the move happened mainly on Friday. But as you can see, Monday kind of slowed down, Tuesday bearish, pullback, bearish, right? Aussie dollar, if I just quickly jump to it, it wasn't like this, right? You can see Aussie dollar, it wasn't so bearish, right? NZD/USD, okay, where is it right now? Well, NZD/USD was pretty bearish, right? You can see massive day right there, continuation, then Friday was also huge. So again, the question is, can we kind of get that bigger pullback towards this 50%? Well, we don't know. What we can focus on right now is following the flow and the overall structure. So there is respected supply and there is brand new supply, lower high. There is our range. The market is already above 50%. So pretty much right now, if this is just a normal day, maybe Tuesday, I'm just looking for shorts, right? We're above 50%. The 50-minute is probably bullish. So what I'm going to be looking for right now is for the market to start turning bearish, right? So we shifted here, higher highs and higher lows. So what I need to see is the market start making lower highs and lower lows. And this is when I'm going to start shorting it, okay? So again, pretty straightforward. I am bearish on this pair as long as we stay below this zone. If we break above this zone, then that is when we can start expecting that bigger pullback, something like this, okay? So have those levels and of course flow with the markets, and don't marry any biases. Don't try to guess where the market's gonna go. It's futile. So monthly time frame on NJ, we already have a 50% pullback on this one, which is pretty good. The weekly also pullback, but what I don't like about the weekly is that it failed to make a new higher high. So does that make this low liquidity for the market to pull us back lower? Well, again, we don't know. Weekly time frame, it's a little bit kind of bigger for me personally. But yes, we can seeing how the market failed, and like look at this formation right there, range, manipulation, initiation, lower, pullback, held, pullback, held again, right? So we're just making lower highs right now. And yeah, so this does not give me a lot of bullish confidence. I do think this low is being taken at least, right? So if we try to find something within here, then that could be where the buyers might come in. Okay, so this low failed to make a new high, which is why it's potentially becoming liquidity. So what I'm going to be looking for is something like this, right? Tap inside and then potentially go, right? Dropping onto the hourly. Yeah, I don't think this level is holding right there. It is currently giving us a reaction, right? But this reaction is just potentially a pullback for the market to pull us back into supply, which could be right there. I also don't love the supply because look the price, right? It was pretty ranging and I really don't like this one as well right there. So NJ, not very nice, not very nice, but overall bearish buy. So again, if we pull back towards right there, I'm going to be looking for shorts targeting 83, and as 83 taps, then of course I'm just going to keep shorting until I'm wrong, right? So short, maybe I'm wrong right there, but then I'm just going to reverse and start taking longs. Okay, so those are the NZDs, pretty much similar to the Aussies. I'm bearish bias on both, right? Both are also extended, so let's see, follow the flow. What can I say about UJ, right? So it's just expanding, bullish engulfing after bullish engulfing. Well, we had a little bit of a stop during May, June, massive engulfing candle. The new monthly candle is opening, so of course we can expect the market to retest this wick, but it's not required, right? Dropping onto the weekly time frame, we have a beautiful range right now, a massive push that broke structure. So overall, we have this as our major weekly higher low, right? So we're bullish on the higher time frames as long as this one remains intact. Then dropping onto the daily, you can see how we start having new price action print. This is the range, but right now the daily, it's a different story. We have a new break of structure right there, which creates this range, right? And right now we have, which looks like a liquidity grab. It's not really a structure break. It kind of wicked, rejected immediately. So what I'm looking to see on this one on the daily is if it's going to hold from this guy right there, because if this guy breaks, then potentially we can expect something like this. Okay, so I don't want to say that UJ is going to become bearish because I know a lot of you guys are again thinking, especially on this pair, extended to keep taking shorts and to keep losing instead of following the flow, right? That's what I always say. I always end my videos and start my videos, and during the analysis I say follow the flow, right? It's just so important. Now dropping onto the 4H, nothing much to extract right there. Like if you really want me to zoom in, then I'm gonna say that yes, this looks like a liquidity gap, right? A nice weak break. We shifted the structure right there, right? So we shifted to the 4-hourly to the downside, pull back, lower high, lower low, pull back again. So it's slowly starting to build a little bit of a bearish flow, right? But as I told you, this one is a very strong daily support or demand, whatever you like to call it. So in order for me to really start taking confident shorts, I really need to see this one broken. Okay, so if this one breaks, if we get a retest lower high, then yes, let's short it. But like on the short term, we are bearish, but it's slightly bit kind of vague for me, right? So is this a break? Yes, we have bearish structure right now forming, but are we really bearish? Right? That's the question, okay? I like it. It looks similar to all the JPYs. And what we also saw from all the JPYs is that they're also looking a little bit bearish, right? So if that overall bearish sentiment goes on UJ, then I think we're going to have lovely shorts on EJ, AJ, and NJ. Okay, so let's see. I would love to see something like this as well for like an intraday move. If I was analyzing the charts right now, this is what I'm going to be looking for this kind of leg. So let's see how Monday opens. And personally, guys, if you wish to short UJ, give it some time, wait for it to really turn bearish, and then start shorting it because you are going to get opportunities, right? Well, if you're like me, missing like 5 trades this week on EU, trying to get my stupid tight stop losses, then that happens, right? But when you get one, it's going to pay. Right, so have patience, wait for the market to turn, and then just go with it, right? But overall, calling an overall bearish USD, although I'm not entirely sure. So let's see how the momentum is gonna open, and then we just make sure to follow it. All right, let's explore the pound pairs, starting from GU. So again, this pair has been overall bearish, but as I told you, like the interest rate on Great Britain has been rising as well, unlike the ECB. So currently they are staying at 1.25% compared to the 1.75% of the dollar. So again, overall, the macro on this one is shouting bearish. In terms of the monthly time frame, there is nothing much to extract except that like the past few months have been pretty bearish, right? So we went from 1.42 all the way to 1.20, right? So that is, what is it, 20 cents, right? That's 20 cents when you think of it. Oh man, what is 20 cents, bro? This is 20 what is it, 20,000 pips? Yeah, 20,000 or 200,000. I'm really not sure, but guys, this is a lot of pips, right? So very bearish. Dropping onto the weekly. Overall range is right there. Well, pretty much similar, right? So we have a structural break right there. This is the range on the weekly. We can drop our 50%, right? And pretty much after this weekly candle closure, the market was already pulling back towards 50% the previous week, and we're already making the move lower. So pretty much on the short term, I do expect this low to be broken immediately, maybe on the market open, right? Because as you can see, we had the daily leg, we had a 50% pullback, we chopped for quite a few days, right? 8 days right there. Then we started moving lower, and on Friday we also impulsed nicely to the downside. Okay, so right now the thing is we have to follow the flow, right? So I'm just gonna quickly drop this bearish zone right there, and we can see that it's pretty much right there on the 4-hourly time frame. So there it is. Currently we might be responding from some sort of zone like this. Come on, something like that, right? So this is kind of a demand. Maybe you can take this whole zone right there. But I pretty much think we're headed for the lows towards the lower low right there of 1950. Okay, so similarly to EU and all the other pairs we covered, we have this overall bearish momentum. You can see that we also have bearish order flow. Supply is being respected. Okay, so what I'm looking for right now is for this most recent range, already above 50%. Knowing GU, it's going to generate some liquidity before it taps, right? So we might have a bearish run. Oops, might have a bearish run, chop around, manipulation into the highs. Then the market is going to shift, and then you're going to take your short. Okay, so be patient. I'm overall short bias on GU as well. So yeah, nothing much more to say. It's quite simple. You don't need to analyze monthly, weekly, daily, and all that stuff. Just focus on 4H and just trade like 4H and 50-minute. But of course, I'm no one to tell you what to do. This is what I do. But of course, keep it simple. So GJ, it's probably a bit tricky due to the JPY nature. Monthly time frame again. What can I extract like from the monthly time frame? I usually don't like to look at price from this kind of point of view. A lot of things guys might do like, ooh, trendline break, trendline retest. I don't do this stuff. I do market structure only. So yeah, push. We had already a monthly pullback. We pushed again. We took out the monthly high. Right now we're initiating a pullback. So monthly time frame doesn't tell me much. Right, dropping onto the weekly time frame. So again, is this a break? Is this a liquidity gap? I don't know, but this is my major high low. So as long as we stay above this sort of big zone right there, we're overall bullish on the higher time frames on GJ. And then if you drop to the daily, again, you start getting a little bit confused because again, did this push actually make a new high? Well, not really. Then we pulled back, which is very cool, right? If you really wish to also refine your zone, there is the zone, right? So we tapped inside, we tried to push, and we failed to break. And this is really important because it signifies that this low right there is not strong, right? It's not a higher low. Why? Because it did not make a new high. So this makes me think that GJ is going to liquidate below this, which is 160. It's going to go below 160 before we eventually see bullishness, if it's actually bullish. Okay, so I'm just throwing this out there, telling you that potentially we can hunt for 160. Okay, and then from there we're gonna see what happens. If we again simply drop to the 4-hourly time frame, what is the flow? It is bearish, right? Currently we're bearish. Yes, we're tapping in this big guy right there, which is giving us the reaction. So what I'm curious to see whether the market is going to kind of pull back and continue going short, or if we're actually going to reverse long from right there. Okay, my major lower high I'm going to take is this guy. I don't want to take this as my major one because it's not a pullback, right? This is not a pullback. This is just a slowdown in price. This is where you can potentially expect shorts, right? This is just a drop-based drop. Okay, if the market breaks above the structure, I'm not going to be rushing for longs. Okay, so this is GJ. I'm overall bearish on this pair. Potentially, I am calling 160, right? Is this precisely 160 this low right there? It looks pretty good. Let's drop like this. Yeah, 160 this low. Very nice, right? So it's a very nice round number to get liquidity gap before we reverse higher. Okay, so this is the 4-hourly again, bearish structure, bearish zones right there. So if you get an opportunity to short it. And if, of course, the market breaks above, taps, fails to make a new lower low, then you know what's going to happen. We're going to turn bullish. Okay, So let's see how it opens, and of course stay tuned for my Tuesday analysis on YouTube, where we're going to have a look at how it opened and how we can adapt to the market on Monday. Let's have a look at GOAT. You know that I'm not trading GOAT and I'm not good at it, right? So let's try to bring something together. We opened by taking out a very important low right there. So on the monthly time frame, this push, again, what I really like about market structure is that it actually tells you who is in control. So if you have this push and this pullback, so if this is the higher low, then the market should have headed to make a new higher high, but we actually failed and stopped right there, and right now we're back into the range. So technically we are ranging, but we also failed to make a new higher high, which kind of gives me more bearish hints, right? And for quite some time I have been telling you guys bearish, 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 right? Because it doesn't make sense for the interest rates to be risen, for the dollar to appreciate, and for people to put their money into gold, right? So this was a demand zone that we thought was the last resort. So we pushed, we tapped inside, we reacted. But what I keep telling you is that the demand zone is not always a reversal zone. It's sometimes or oftentimes a reaction point. So we tapped inside, we reacted, we created a lower high, and then we pushed lower potentially. So how far are we going to head into the lows? Like taking out this low right there, this low, I don't know, right? But I am overall bearish, right? So everything suggests bearish. You can see the overall price right there in terms of the daily time frame. Look at it, right? It's just wicks, 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 small candles, small candles, small candles. Then on Friday, we actually took out the low, and you can see the reaction, right? It went all the way down, rejected all the way up, and actually closed bullish, right? So gold for me is really tricky right now. I really don't know what to expect. So I'm also appreciating your opinion on gold. I would love to see a range like this. So pretty much I was calling shorts, I think, from this zone, which is like a daily zone, right? Daily zone, break, retest, there it is. And then we started to very slowly roll to the downside. But as you can see on the 4H, well, pretty much it was making lower highs. But according to me then, this was my major high low on the 4H, right? So as long as we remain intact and above this guy, I was bearish. And we can see we just kind of started breaking it already on like Thursday, right? Then we expanded on Friday and we started to retrace. Okay, so currently, again, if I keep it as simple as it is, as I do with Forex, I'm gonna ask, what is the current momentum? It's bearish. Where is the last lower high? It's this. So as long as we're below it, we're bearish, right? So if we come in towards right there, let's observe how the lower time frames are gonna act. If we're gonna have like a shift lower in order to take a short. And of course, if this one starts to break, then we have to question, okay, what is happening? Are we getting back into the range? Are we headed bullish, right? Personally, this low right there from the 16th of May is really major, right? And we can see how we took it out and massively rejected, okay? So there is a big chance that right now we can draw a range like this and say that the market is gonna pull us back all the way up right there, collecting all of this flat price, okay? So this could be another scenario, right? But of course, I don't think we can see like such a big pullback towards some of those levels, right? Maybe we can liquidate this, maybe this guy right there, but not all of them, okay? So let's see how it reacts from here. If we continue to break, then great, we follow the flow. Let's see if it breaks above. If it breaks above, then we adapt and see if we can take any longs, right? And of course, if it continues to chop around something like this, then we just don't trade, for me personally. So let me know down in the comments what you think about gold. Do you think we're going to have a deeper pullback? Do you think we're just going to crush to the downside? Do you think we're going to reverse higher? Let me know. Let's have a look at the indices. Starting from US 30, currently I'm on the quarterly time frame, 3 months, right? So what I first want to show you is that right now we are entering again into extreme fear territory, right? What we can see is that 1 year ago we were at 38, which is pretty much again a fearful state, right? 1 month ago we were at 28, right? 1 week ago 27, and right now we're dropping below 24. And I think there was a time that we were even lower than that, okay? So this simply means that we are getting into fear, like people are exiting the market, people are fearful. We have like a lot of thoughts about recession. Like if you just quickly go to Google Trends, right, let's just test it out, and you go and type recession or inflation, you're gonna see probably, well, that's worldwide. You can see, look at that, right? So throughout the most recent period, it has reached the peak, right, in the past 12 months, right? And if we go, do we have from 2004? We can see that again, it's been the highest during, I think this one should be COVID. And right now we're getting back into the COVID times, right? So a lot of people were looking at recession. A lot of people are fearful and there is blood on the streets, but this is when money is also being made. Okay. So on the quarterly, if I just draw a simple range, we have a lot of space to travel towards the 50%. A beautiful engulfing candle on the quarterly time frame, right? So I do expect a brief pullback and a continuation lower, right? In terms of technical analysis, well, I am bearish, but I keep buying, of course. Monthly time frame bearish candle, we're already starting to initiate a little bit of a pullback, okay? But I do think, again, we are going to have one more leg lower. And just look at this price, right? Just look how perfect it is, right? So we had a higher low right there, higher high, break, retest, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, potentially to continue lower, right? It's just bearish, right? So I already have my range right there. I think it was this week that we just went above 50%. We threw in a little bit of a liquidity gap. By the way, I'm starting to also trade US30, just looking at it at New York session. It's very volatile. It's very nice. It's not like NASDAQ to just liquidate everything and throw like huge wicks. It's pretty good. So I was observing like the longs since right there, then we had a liquidity gap above, then it started shorting. So right now we're tapping into this demand, right? But technically right now we can say that we're bearish after this liquidity gap, and then after we shifted the structure right here, I'm overall bearish. So I'm gonna personally draw this as supply and see if the market is gonna come in and how it's gonna respect it, okay? Of course, we are above 50% right now, so we're free to fall, right? But if you pull back even higher, then that's even better, okay? As for longs, I'm gonna be really careful, and usually longs, guys, right now you only take them intraday. Okay, there were longs right there, nice longs. Yes, that's fine. Right now the minor structure is bullish, right? But keep in mind, daily, weekly, quarterly, everything is bearish. Even the flowy right now is turning bearish, so be careful with the longs, okay? But of course, I'm gonna give you more insights on Tuesday when we have more price being built up. If we have a look at NASDAQ on the 3 monthly time frame, yes, look at those tech companies, guys, like massive, right? Since April 2020, massive candles. Like look at those candles right there, like mini, and then we had this massive. So really inflated market, especially on the tech companies. And we are seeing it right now. Companies like Netflix, PayPal, and Zoom, I think as well, started to plummet. A lot of those are just dropping. Okay, so we're reaching like a really low level right now. We entered bearish territory quite a while ago, and the lowest point has been 34% on NASDAQ. So pretty bearish, right? Dropping onto the daily, overall bearish structure, push, pullback above 50% right now, which is pretty important. On the hourly, we're already shifting bearish as well, right? So we had like a pullback, push, pullback, break. Yeah, I'm just looking at the details right there. It's not really a higher low, but the higher low, you can say it's right there because we got a pullback, an inside bar, right? So you can say that this is your structure shift, maybe here, maybe there. It's not like a great detail. What matters is that this pair is bearish right now. This is my major supply. What I like is those flat highs that can get taken out, right? So you can get some short-term buys, something like this. But then again, long term, I do think we're falling. Okay, so bearish on NASDAQ and of course bearish on S&P, which is slightly but still kind of chopping around. I'm looking for another dip below this low, potentially just pulled back above 50%. I do think it lacks a little bit more liquidity, this one, in order to break lower. We kind of pulled back, tapped inside the zone, collected a little bit, collected again, just took out the high right there. Then we started initiating lower, right? So right now we're tapping into some sort of demand levels like this, right? But again, similarly to US30 and NASDAQ, I'm gonna drop this supply. And as the market starts to take out these flat highs right here, I'm gonna be looking for a tap inside, shift of structure, and then potentially attacking a new low, okay? So I'm again overall bearish on the stocks. I do think with what is happening in the world, also the war is ongoing, a lot of worries, a lot of stuff. I do think we are about to continue falling. So yes, shorts are the main bias. When it comes to crypto, I just don't want to comment much because, yeah, we're in a massive crash right there. If I just quickly show you the Bitcoin Ethereum Greed Index, it is at 14, right? current price 1900, 19,000, sorry. And the grid is quite, sorry, the fear is quite low. What I want to comment on that is that it's at like 19K and there is a lot of fear, right? Usually people should start buying at that time. The fear ingredient index should start climbing a little bit, but no, it keeps falling, right? So I do think we have more potential. And if you go to the quarterly, right, there is the zone, right? The zone is around 12K. So this is potentially where we're headed, okay? So I'm not buying any Bitcoins right now. I'm also not trading them. So I'm just kind of observing and waiting for the next cycle to hopefully again make some money. And then next time I'm just not going to get involved because, man, those assets are just a pain, right? Yes, I turned like 0 to 14K. Then I reached like a 30K as well. But right now it's falling because I failed to put it out, right? So it's a good lesson to learn, okay? And of course, Ethereum, it just continues to maintain this bearish order flow right there. We kind of liquidity grabbed a little bit, continuing to go lower. So let me know, guys, if you're trading crypto. I think intraday, you can see on the 40 time frame, it nicely shifts, it nicely moves, right? But I'm not really looking at it, right? So yeah, well, this is where I want to end it up. Hopefully the video wasn't too long. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to subscribe and leave a comment. Just to let me know what you think. Let me know where the market is going according to you and according to your favorite pairs as well. Share your insights with me. Like, subscribe, and I can't wait to see you on Tuesday. Excited about how this week is gonna go. I'm gonna be traveling, so don't expect weekly outlook and setups next Saturday because I'm gonna be in Turkey, and there is usually no roaming there for me. The internet is quite bad usually, so I'm gonna be taking a full week off because, again, guys, it's summer. You should take some time off to reward yourself for all the hard work you're doing. The market's not gonna go anywhere. You might have a losing month or two. That's fine, right? Usually Q3 and Q4 are when I perform the best, so that's when we're gonna kill it, okay? So enjoy your weekend and speak to you on Tuesday.